Hello, hi, this is Lakshadat once again, and I'm here to review a book called Glass Palace. It is a well known book and very well recognized by so many, been appreciated, and been the best novel, best seller for so long, for so many decades. So it was necessary to speak about amidst the time of Manipur incidents and the disturbance which are occurring since May. So let's talk about the book is divided into five parts and consists of 500 pages or so and describes well the whole eastern region or how the British came into being. So beginning from the Mandalay, they are talking about the story of Rajkumar, that one person who is 8-year-old and a boat rowing child having parent who loses his parents in Chittagong then when it was not divided, and then later he manages to escape in Burma, and there he meet Aunt Dolly, and there he work under her, and then after that decided to get along with her, and later establishes his generation, and then over the generations they say goes to Ratnagiri. On the other hand, Dolly is the princess and well recognized, and at one of the tea seller he gets a chance to even get a reward, a share of having space as accommodation for survival. Later he marries to Dolly, who is a princess, but she gets attracted to Rajkumar but manages her trail with Saya John, and Saya John is married to another character, Uma, and then they have their own children, Neil and Manya, and then they are having their children later, and they are trying to find their existence of generation throughout the time of Burma and Indo war, which was not Indo exactly but British war from 1856, and before that Burmese were existing, and more than that Chinese cantonment was ruling us as these, and then later Britishers arrived, and then they started creating disturbance, and Jats who were well assisting the Britishers in Jat one-on-one regime all well recognized the idea of fighting against Burma to entail the independence. For this whimsical reason, for this unnecessary reason, the Jats were trying to entail independence from Britishers, and earlier they had been considered slaves, and then how well Japanese army taken over in 1944 itself. From 1940s they escalated towards Burma from the whole Asian region, because white supremacist Nazi was creating menace in the whole world by killing everyone, wiping the whole society who is not white or who is not German according to their regulations, whatever they were carrying, that were all enforced and unnecessary. And Japanese, they were considered on the other hand racist. And for what reason? That they are trying to make a righteous stand, the righteous stand of going for the right thing, coming up again against the projections and presumptions which Indian society carries till today. So very well described in the whole book, and the writer said at once that bear me from one side of this region, because he knows it, and in between you have projections of lover boys and girls who are making their contentments in their infusion of femi and trying to be in some kind of substance which can subdue them in a relationship, can last forever while lying in a lake with their feet underneath them, or maybe Ajmeri girl who is wrangling people with fingers to attract many others, or the Italian army who is getting down at Ajmer station with Britishers before boarding to Mumbai. So all these are historical phases well taken, or the Gadar incident, which is from 1930s, for the revolt of Britishers against Punjab, not some movie. So how well it is described. We have to commend the writer, but at the same time he is racist to the highest level in terms of describing Sikh or even Khasi or even people who are part of the Cherrapunji region over the Burmese, and considering himself as a Bengali, a Lankan, a part of Singapore regiment, and then Singapore regiment filled with UKites was very much vehement and against Japanese, and they are making responsible US for the Vietnam War, and for this reason they are trying to escalate with this kind of disturbance in the form of upsurgence and in this kind of insurgency, and that is making people die, and generations, by the end of it only Rajkumar stays and rest of the people, they all dilapidate. So what we find, this palace is amalgamation of all the photographs and memories which Jaya finds out, who is granddaughter for Rajkumar, daughter for Arjun, and trying to find or extract so many things which can make her realize where her generation exactly belongs or comes from. So this book is all about telling people how the Indian army managed Jat regiment, managed to give their influence to Britishers to fight a war against Burma because they were racist, and later they were considered slaves, and then they were fighting against Japanese, and rightly Japanese were killing them, not killing. In one of the chapter very well told that how Japanese only shot in the leg of the Arjun and not exactly in his chest or anywhere else. Later he died suffering, not being able to resist, because they are Indian. They do not have that much of willpower to restrain. We are not Olympic champions in the world. Get that clear. From the time in the Athens, German has made the Olympics possible till today. We are nowhere in the standing of top 10 countries with the tallies of highest medal. So get that clear that we are not resistible. We are intolerable. Very well told by so many people. So that is well described by the writer in this book. And from Rangoon to Ratnagiri to Morningside to the Glass Palace to the wedding time to the money making sphere, where they managed to get a girl who is from a princely region, and that is like a shrill. Then they are comparing a beggar who is running in this excitement, seeing princely oriented royals in a car and running next to them in a rickshaw and going mad or berserk, and then there is a sudden mob violence between Burmese and the so-called Indians, then East people staying there, and that is making his head jerked off completely in a second, and that is called jerking off in a movement, where you are not slitting a throat, where you are not rigiding something, but slitting completely, and he is headless, he is turning his face, and then he is completely gone, and witnessed by the royals going astounded and berserk with the idea of kind of mob violence which is existing, defining Indians, and Indians mainly the Jat regiment, and the Jat regiment which describe are Delhi, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, so many places till Jammu Kashmir, all these Ninukums from Mesopotamia, these are the problems. They are not the people who are representing India. This book completely tells us the idea that India is nothing but an amalgamation of conjuncture of few states, and for the reason of feeling pride that I am also an officer, because they were serving as servants in the army of Britishers. And before that, the history was only pertaining to the Easterns, the East people who are today in Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland. These are the people who are describing the history of India for 200 years, and this is where the Britishers came from. And then they later took on the trade of tea from Darjeeling. They have not taken the sugar cane from Punjab. So people should be very much clear about it. So all these things, being a racist, calling a yar because the guy is an infusion for others, he makes amalgamation with people, quickly get involved. That is a problem. So that should not be there. That means that they are not united. You are not ready to be in one unit. And then you are calling yourself a unit trying to wage a war. It is clearly written in the book that they have no preparation, neither they have ammunition against Japanese. Japanese managed to throttle the whole US. Then they have by the end, surprisingly behind their back, pushed some nuclear bombs to wreck them. Otherwise, Japanese were going way strong, way ahead than Nazi. Nazis stand nowhere till today. Nazi and Ninukum, just like Delhiites and Pakistanis who make pretense by shooting in the air, and then we come to know nothing happened and it was just a dramatic representation to gain some brownie points or to maybe on television. So that is how it is, that is how it was. And just people should remember these insects as historical aspect. They have created a fake history, unnecessary partition where they have affected people who are staying here. Until today we have menace. Because of this reason, they created, the North Indians created history, otherwise we could have got historical independence in 1945 under the tutelage of Subhash Chandra Bose. So the book describes well what exactly the whole thing is all about, the Indian independence and how we ended and how the technology came into being. They are talking till 80s where a woman is Jaya making her account granddaughter, logging in, trying to connect with the tele world. So we need to realize that how we have transformed the way we were. Rubber plantation is a parallel representation to the wheat plantation which is still there and a Manipur problem today. And for this reason we have land dispute between Kuki and Meitei community. So it is the same problem describing through this book, and till today it is only escalating. So we need to realize how well the book is describing the whole reality of India and the existence of East, and from Darjeeling till the Nagaland, what exactly India is and nothing to do with rest of the India. I want to claim again, if people are not aware, that Aurangzeb tried to invade Assam twice. Twice he was completely thrashed and whammed by Badphukan, who was a great leader from Assam. He is still there. You will find his installations everywhere more than Shivaji. And there is a reason he is very well recognized. And that is the place from where our Indian history begins. And what was Japan then, today is China. So we need to understand China is going on the terms of discipline. And discipline is what creates the society fruitful and in a better state of well-being. Today we have a person dying, we have no one to write down a single line for the person as RIP. Why? For this reason, because everyone feels that I'm nowhere less than an officer by having some shop and earning few lakhs through bitcoins or maybe some Sensex. Apart from that, what else you know? Everyone is now having this criteria just similar to having a purse in your pocket. Now apart from that, what exactly you have to describe yourself from others? Nothing else. So today we are in the same strata, same condition, and it is a high degree at the moment that we need to get assistance of Britishers back again, or Chinese, which are completely different from the time the way they were in 1940s, the Britishers. Today they are very serious for tackling issues of terrorism. So this book describes how well they have created formation Japanese and inserted themselves and taken on each, and very lewdly, not very pensively, and in a very light manner, in simple terms, and made sure to make others realize that you are not standing in any position to defend yourself except to give up. And what happened is that they created a mob violence to get away from the fact of getting some better rule of a dictatorship called Japanese dictatorship, which was their Japanese communism. which was known as Shinto. And they were having problem with that, because till today Indian villager is having problem with discipline. He doesn't want to study, he doesn't want to go to school, he doesn't want to complete his curriculum, he doesn't want to learn extracurricular things. Remember, this is the same city, Ajmer, where people, they have debarred their children from Mayur school because they were having co-curricular activities which are necessary. And today CBSE have enlisted a letter that all the CCA activities, including music, dramatics, writing, extemporary, all are the necessary part of your curriculum and can never be diffused from any CBSE school, otherwise they will not get A plus accreditation. So realize that these are just not in here sending their people to quota, and today we have more than 300 people who have died because of not getting admission in IIT. IIT is such a deal. IIT is giving no placements. IIT's pass outs have created Flipkart. That was taken by Amazon. They are existing nowhere today. Others have taken the inspiration, have their own startups. Now slowly everyone has done their programming courses and now they have their own startups too. So there is no value for engineering. Now going for that dream of engineering and thinking that you are going to be in MIT or Spider-Man is useless. And you are only committing jihad because you are a convert. So you are doing the so-called term, we use it, shahadat, in the name of not becoming an achiever. So you are a failure, a complete failure, that cannot be denied. So we have to admit the fact. The book is well written, it is extended a bit, it is elaborated. At one point of time before the wedding, it becomes boring, and even after the wedding it becomes boring. It would be enjoyed by the couples who are busy in fingering on finding their orgies to be fulfilled through these chapters. Otherwise the book has nothing. Some interest relies later once the Japanese take entrance in the later chapters of Rangoon, or the last chapters remaining for the plantation and how it has been grabbed by the Britishers. So very well told. Mandalay describes the Rajkumar. Then you have Rangoon, how they are travelling and discovering Maharashtra, Ratnagiri, because that is the only refuge for Burmese after being invaded by the Britishers. Now they are trying to settle there. They are getting disease similar to coronavirus because they are pork eaters. So specially pork has been arranged for them every day because they are everyday pork eaters. Then they are getting swollen skin at the same time. Then they are getting away out of that. So telling all these are part of the life. It is not a deal. Then later they described one of the helper, Kishan Singh, as Batman because he is a Nepali. So that is another way of describing the racist formula against the existence of real Indians who are Khasis, and from there the movement begins for the independence, and these are nowhere to be standing, and they have been formulated by the Britishers over the time, and they are well described by great Ambedkar, and who are Shudras, that only race of Germans and Armenians and nothing else. So need to realize they have nothing to do with. They have created casteism over these matters of race, and for this reason they made it continued. So it should be stopped, it should be debarred, and this is elaborated content, but needs to understand, you need to be patient enough to get till the end. But by the end it boils your blood that what it is written. Many filmmakers have made movie that if they are elongating it for no reason, better I should make a movie for no reason in 2 parts and extending it to the highest level. Everyone has given their satire. Someone has used the dialogue Bhag Arjun Bhag. Someone has made movie called Gadar. Someone has made movie called Airlift. So everyone is giving their satires in their own way throughout this book, that they have read it or they have gone through the experts. So this is like a melodrama for the whole Delhi and all kind of wannabes attached to Bollywood. So a gimmick for Bollywood, a plot which is well twisted and turned and turmoiled and then makes you completely detached, and then you get in vain and you realize better I should take my course book at once. but you have to complete it. So you go through till the acknowledgement where the writer is making you realize that I am writing in the dedication of my mother, so you can relate the mother could be Dolly. So by the end, you have to figure out, it's like a riddle, how you are going to figure out who is who are these characters, and what they are describing from Mandalay till the last glass palace, what exactly is there within these parameters, and how they are going to resist them in the time of anarchy. Now, then there was no Hindu Muslim, but these Indian people were the same, and all they wanted was to kill others. And who are those? These Haryanvis, these people from Rajasthan, these people from Punjab, these people from UP, these people from Bihar, even these people from Himachal Pradesh. They are all the people who are racist to the highest level, and they want to butcher how badly they are against China. They have not a single foliage which they can take out against China and point them out today. Japan, on the other hand, trying to be pious. They have been so benevolent till today in this name that you find us harsh, you find us butcherers. We are not going to even touch you. That is how we find them even in Varanasi. Or anywhere you go or experience, just see their treatment and how well they are going to receive you. You are not receiving them. Instead, they are receiving whatever you are expecting, they are bestowing on. And then we have Chinese version, UPites, who are thumbprinting, and literates only know how to speak their local and fake language made up by them later, after the formation of Japanese. They have not created their language before Japanese. Japan is the foremost priority of the Asia. They are the rulers of Asia, creators of Asia, the samurai culture. So we need to be clear. Today they are silent, and they have created their childlike, prepared trainers who are known as China, Mao regime, and they are moving ahead for the right reason, be it towards Taiwan, be it towards the Indian region of Jammu and Kashmir and Arunachal Pradesh, Askachin border, and the whole Arunachal Pradesh, Leh Ladakh, and the whole Jammu and Kashmir. So beware of it and be prepared. This book is not going to save you. This book is only going to fulfill your rickshawala fantasies. Not more than that you can, or you would be able to do anything, because nobody is going to resist to some American English, not even this writer who is telling well that a soldier is writing anything in his letter and expecting the wife is going to appease him or keep him in remembrance, or as if not going to take it as an abuse or a swear language to describe that I am writing and doing some favor on you. So many a satires, you can conclude and decide if you are a righteous person and know that today is the day we call Wednesday, if I am not wrong, or yeah, exactly, and today is Wednesday, and right now it is almost 8 o'clock, 8:32, and we cannot change this fact. So similarly, the site of evolution which is in Manipur cannot be excavated, nor the churches which were there in 1400, and before these Britishers, French were ruling with their East companies in Madurai and Bangalore and Mangalorean regions and Pondicherry. So these are the places where they were having their East Indian companies in the southern regions, and then they created in the northern region to create this detachment and racist formula to segregate the society and rule. This is called divide and rule, dividing the race and then infiltrating them, then brainwashing, then making their own idea, then diverting them from many resources, then giving them some few pieces next to some bone given to a dog and making them feel happy about it, and then they were assisting the Britishers. Later they realized that you are slave once they were attacked by Japanese, that you are just slaves who are doing nothing but trying to wipe the asses of Britishers in the name that you will get a supremacist seat to be called yourself an aristocrat. That is not becoming a reality till today. We know who are ruling our country, and people are expecting, oh, this person has made chai, that is enough now. Now I am satisfied. The person has managed to make tea, not managed to make. Essentially everyone should be unemployed, sit at home and should make tea. That will
appease the person who is sitting there after being a vendor for the same tea selling, and today calling himself, look at the way he went to America wearing half Nehru and the worst kind of jacket, as if he's a representation for some Dalit community. And that Dalit community well described by Prakash Jha and many other filmmakers, that satirical stereotypical image of Dalits. So he is only defaming Dalits, at the same time giving unnecessary rights to legislative assembly, which is not a career for anyone. So we need to decide what exactly India today is, what it was. And just saying that I have been to Northeast is not going to change the Northeast, not going to change the fact that they stand out. Till today they are different, and there is segregation which is very much needed. And for this reason the disturbance is prevailing, and it will reside for this reason, that they want people to be at savior, they want them in better state. Similar people like me who belong to the similar strata, so not going to reside in this casteist world of systematic source of dividing people in the name of their origin or their evolution based races. So better when I know that I am resonating with the Northeast and many like me, and having their family origins attached from there, nothing can be done except going to China and finding a better future than going to fake America. Thank you so much.